it's Dan, Book Nook Noggin here with another book review. This time I'm here to review True Crime by Samantha Kolesnik. Samantha Kolesnik was kind enough to give me an Audible audiobook version of her book. This came out sometime in 2020. It's roughly around 158 pages, I do believe. I think that's what it said so it's a novella. And I kept hearing about this book. I kept hearing about how great this book was. And the only thing I knew about this book, because what my takeaway from all the reviews I had heard about this book was that it was about a brother and sister who were abused by their mother, and they go on a murder rampage, like a killing spree. And that was all I knew. But the thing I want to share with you guys is that this book is so much more than that. This book is so much deeper than that. Because yes, while at face value, that is what kind of piqued my interest in this book, with the title, which is True Crime. Now, I will admit, I do have a fascination with true crime. I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, so I know a lot about true crime cases. One of the things, this was published by Grindhouse Press, and one of the things I definitely have to do is I have to give you guys trigger warnings. I definitely feel like it's necessary to give you trigger warnings because, yes, it does discuss the abuse of these children. Mainly, the book takes place from the perspective of Susie. She is the sister and the brother-sister relationship here, and it's told from her perspective, and we kind of see a little bit of the sexual abuse that she has gone through in order to get her to kind of, reach that point, that point of no return. Not only that, is there slightly, I'm going to say it was slightly graphic on the sexual abuse part involving a child, so be forewarned. It's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable. It's supposed to make your skin crawl. That's the whole point of it. Another thing, if you are an animal person, especially a dog person, there's a number of dogs that do die in this novella. So I'm throwing that out there too. Do not say I did not give you trigger warnings if you go and check this out. That way you are forewarned. You've had your trigger warnings. Now, yeah, like I was saying, this book is so much deeper than just, a couple of kids going on a murder spree, a murder rampage. It is so much deeper than that. Like, the cover does have the thing saying it is similar to The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum. I'm going to totally agree with that. And I'm also going to throw out some movies that kind of reminded me of this book. The Badlands, which was the movie that came out in 1973 with Martin Sheen, that one definitely rang a bell with me. It kind of has that kind of Badlands kind of feel to it. Also, it kind of has a slight little, very tiny bit like Dexter, both the book series and the TV series, in a certain one scene. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. I'm not gonna tell you what the scene is about, but it does have that slight kind of inkling of that. And it kind of reminds me a whole lot of, like, Natural Born Killers. If you've never seen that, go unfuck that and check out that film. That is a great film. Yes, this is so much to unpack about this book. I'm going to be careful not to mention spoilers, but the one aspect that kind of made it similar to The Girl Next Door, there is a character who I'm not going to name her. I'm not going to talk about her too much, because she was kind of vital. Now, the character of Susie is going to be the one I'm going to talk about the most because it's from her perspective. It's kind of hard to not feel sorry for Susie. There's a number of times, and this is one of the things that I really, really enjoyed about this book, was the way that Sam Kolesnik kind of did phrasings. I don't know if they're 100% original phrases that she made up, but they were just spot on, brilliant, well crafted, very well written. Like, one of the things she kept comparing what this abuse type relationship was like, was she kept saying it was like being the dog. She said she'd be the dog if it meant she had to be obedient in order to survive, basically, and not be hurt too badly. She would be the dog. And this was repeated throughout the novella, and man, I felt so heart-wrenching, like this sadness, this deep sadness for this girl, because she does not know hardly anyone in her life who does not want to use her in some way or hurt her. And sometimes it just seems like people, both men and women, just want to use her for her parts, the sum of her parts, and it kind of makes her resent her own body. There's a couple of times where she talks about removing her own breasts and sewing up her holes because of her whole tragic past. And you just feel so bad for her because the few people in her life that she really deeply cares for, like her brother and her dog, and things happen to them. And there's this other thing, her dog's name was Moses. And another phrase they kept going over was, "This is not Moses." And there was a certain scene with the dog and Moses, and I can't tell you about it, but I gave you the trigger warning, so you know that something's going to happen with this dog. But yeah, I mean, there was one time where, she had this relationship with this other girl who was in the house, and I was just totally shocked, like, she did not, none fucks given about this girl, but yet at the same time she shared a dream, something she wanted to achieve, while she was very pessimistic, this character of Susie, very pessimistic, and you can kind of understand because her life has been nothing but a tragedy. And when they finally got this kind of freedom, she just wants to go see this one thing with this dream she had shared with this other girl, and when she finally gets it, it turns out it's nothing but shit, like literal shit, and just such a disappointment, and not only a disappointment like dream-wise, but a disappointment in humanity, and it just twists your emotions, your heart. This was a total heart-wrenching read, guys. It was so hard not to feel sorry for this girl. I mean, I was at the verge of crying sometimes reading this book. And there was a bunch of scenes like this where, and I don't understand why, like, they tried to say, like, there were a couple times they tried to say, because her brother, because it's taken from Susie's perspective, we don't really get too much in depth with his character. We just know that he's kind of protective over his sister. He seems very simple, like he doesn't really say too much. And besides just, her whole, like, trying to be optimistic sometimes, their whole life seems to just be nothing but tragedy heaped upon tragedy. And, like, the fact that she cannot get out of this whole thought process of thinking that she's a bad person, which kind of, makes you think about, nature versus nurture. Like that whole argument that people have when it comes to, like, true crime. Were they born bad or were they made bad because of things that happened to them in their life? And just, like, Susie keeps trying to tell, herself that she's just one of those people, one of her kind, which is just bad. And she's had her mother tell her how bad she was. And even when she tries to recall, like, a good memory from her childhood, something that she thought was good, she says it's kind of hard to accept those good memories because with that she has to take in and remember that it goes with the bad memories. So she feels like this confliction in how can she feel something was good in her life when she had so much bad stuff happen to her. And it's just stuff like that. Like I said, it was so heart-wrenching. But, like, I thought this was a really good read. Samantha Kolesnik did a really brilliant job with the writing of this. If you have not read it, go check this book out. Like I said, it's a short little novella. I did give this a 5 out of 5 star rating on Goodreads. It's really, really good. Like I said, definitely, it's so much more to unpack than just, these two kids going on a murder spree. It is so much more than that. Because it's just, when you hear, like, from everything from this girl's perspective, you feel so bad for her. And then, like, when she tries to do good things, But yeah, and the way it ended, it kind of feels like there might be room for a sequel. I will say that. I'm not going to spoil it, but it does feel like there's room for a sequel by the way she ended it. She has her own press, which is called Off Limits Press, and that's the press that put out Laurel Hightower's Crossroads. And she did another one with Haley Piper. But yeah, she has her own press. I'm hoping that she's going to come out with some more stuff of her own. I don't know if she has any short stories in the Worst Laid Plans or not, but that's an anthology that I want to read. I'm hoping she has something in there because I was really impressed with this book, you guys. 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Of course, as always, I will have a link to Amazon down below for you guys in the U.S. I'm going to try to find it on bookshop.org. If I can't find it on bookshop.org, then I'm going to throw down the Grindhouse Press so you can buy it direct from them. Of course, as always, I'm going to throw down my coffee link. Buy me a coffee. I could use the energy and the motivation. That's all I got for you guys. If you came here looking for book reviews and book recommendations, please hit that subscriber button. While you're there, hit that notification bell. This has been Dan. Stay healthy and be good to each other.